Hey there, and welcome back in to the Direct Selling Accelerator Podcast, episode 100. I've got to say, I am so super proud to be here, but I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the support of all of the people that we've got around us. I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys, all of those people that tune in and listen to this podcast. We originally set this up to be something that we would provide of value to our tribe, to our ideal audience. And it's turned into so much more than that. This has been an amazing opportunity for us to come together as a team. It's been an incredible opportunity for us to learn and grow and connect with some unbelievable individuals all over the globe. I've got so many amazing memories over the last 100 episodes, and I'm so excited for what's to come. But we racked our brains and we thought hard about what are we going to talk about for episode 100? How are we going to use this effectively? How are we going to leave you guys feeling as excited and empowered as we do right now? And the thing is, I know that to you guys, 100's just 100. So I wanted to make this about some of the things, in fact, 10 of the things that I have learned over the last 100 episodes, but also that I've learned in business over the last 5-6 years that keep me going every single day. One of the things that I know to be true is that in business, it takes literally an entire village to make a business happen. It's not possible to be successful, whether your business is really small or it's huge, without other people around you, even if you're the only person in your business. It takes support, it takes inspiration, and it also takes challenging individuals. And man, oh man, have I had a few of those over the years that I've been here. And I still consider myself to be a baby in business in comparison to so many others. But I really wanted to take this opportunity right now to share with you some of the key things that have stood out to me, some of the key learnings that I've had over the last 100 episodes and nearly 7 years since we launched Auxano Marketing, which we now call Auxano Global. And a lot of these learnings have come from some of those unbelievable individuals that we've had supporting us by our sides, but also challenging us along the way. Some of the people that we've had also as amazing guests in our podcasts have, as much as I'm getting them in to serve you, I feel like I get so much out of those conversations as well. And so I also want to say a massive thank you to all of the people that have been amazing guests over the last 100 episodes as well. The most important thank you, though, just as I jump in here, that I want to say is to our team. Our team are what keeps our business going every day. And yep, you know what? There are so many people that have come and gone over the years throughout the Auxano team, but I value and am grateful for every single one of them, whether they're not with us anymore or whether they're still with us today. Our team is a really important part of moving forward. So I just want to say a huge thank you to them and a thank you to those that make this podcast possible as well, because although I show up here on camera, it takes a load of people to put all of this together for you guys at the other end. So big thank you to them. And I'm going to launch in now. I've got 10 things that I want to share to you that I think are really important to be not only successful in business, but I think successful in following your dream and your passions. And you know what? These are things I've got to remind myself of every single day. Do you know, I was actually just having a really fantastic conversation with one of my very first ever business coaches and beautiful friend of mine, the beautiful Celine Egan. And she said to me, I just want to remind you of something, Sam. And she said, I've got this little motto this year that I really want to encourage you to remember. And I want to throw it out there because I reckon that there's a few of you guys that might like this too. I've actually got it written up on my whiteboard next to me here. And it simply says this: what's the best thing that could happen? And I love that because you know what? We go through ups and downs in business and in life. We are in insane times right now where I don't want to use the word unprecedented, but I'm sorry, I'm going to do it. We're living in times right now where we don't know what's coming next. And for many of us, we're sort of sitting here going, what is happening? And so I learned last year that we can really focus on what's not going right, what we don't know, what we're afraid of. We can sit in that fear, or we can do what Celine just said to me. And I just have to continuously remind myself, and that is, let's think about and focus on what's the best thing that could happen. Because how much better would life be? How much better would business be? How much better would our relationships be and our family life, our friends, if we focused on the best things? So do you know what? I'm going to do that this year. I am super focused on all the things I want, all the things I dream of, rather than sitting in the fear and worrying about things I can't control. So I just wanted to throw that one out there. I just had a feeling someone needed to hear that today. So there you go. All right, here's number one, because we're going to dive on in, right? I don't want to keep you for too long. So the first thing here that I just want to say, and this is probably, you've heard me say this before, I just want to dive in for a little bit on this though, is be yourself. Here's where I'm going with this. I speak about this often when it comes to social media and the importance of being you. Because here's the thing, people are not buying your product. They're not buying your business. You've heard me say it. I'm repeating myself again, but they're buying you. They're connecting with you. They don't really care about what you sell. They care about why you sell it. They care about why it matters to you and how you show up. Your ideal audience is sitting there waiting for you. But I want to expand on that for a moment. And I want to remind you of this. Sometimes we look outside of ourselves, and I'm going to put my hand up and say I am one of the worst for doing this. We look at all of the things that we could be, should be, want to be, and are not. But I want to remind you of something that someone told me the other day, and that's this. You are exactly who you need to be right now, and you are exactly where you should be right now. There's nothing missing. You are who you need to be and where you need to be in this moment. There's going to be change in your life. There's going to be growth. You're going to morph into something else. You're going to change, absolutely. But in this moment, at this time, who you are is perfect. And I just want to remind you of that, because it's very easy for us to compare ourselves to others out there, particularly on social media. We watch what other people are doing. And do you know what? I do it too. We all do it. We watch other people and we think, I need to be more like that. I need to change who I am. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. People don't want to hear from me. They don't want to see me. Maybe you've used the words that I reckon I've caught myself saying multiple times over the years. I feel like an imposter. You're not. You are the only person qualified to be you. And in this very moment in time, you're exactly who you need to be. So I just want to give you that little bit of encouragement. I don't know who's listening to this today, but whoever you are, whatever you are doing, wherever you are in this very moment in time, do not think that you need to be anything different from who you are. And in actual fact, I'm going to give you my number 10, obviously at the end here, but it's going to tie this one back in. I don't want to give it away too early. I'm not going to jump ahead. Don't jump ahead, Sam. Okay. So that's number one, is be yourself. Unashamedly be you, and know that you are exactly who you need to be in this very moment in time. Okay. Number two came actually from the amazing Oscar Trimboli, probably one of my top favorite episodes in this podcast. We'll link it in the show notes actually, because if you didn't listen to this one, you definitely should. Oscar is a deep listening expert, and he came in as a guest on our podcast last year. And he spoke about the art of listening. And that's my point here. And that is this: listening is an art form. And what I really loved about what Oscar said in relation to listening is that it literally can disarm any person or any situation when done right. And I feel like I've got so much more to learn from this amazing man, but I do just want to throw it out there that he just reminded me of something very important. It's not the words we say, it's actually the words we don't say that have the greatest impact. Now, I'm a talker for a living. It's what I do every day. So listening for me is definitely something that I have to put a lot more focus into, probably than the average person. But I just want to encourage you, because as I have spent time playing in this space and learning in this space, I can tell you that the way that my relationships happen, the way that business works, even the way that my business growth happens, and it'll be the same for you, is very different when I practice deep listening. So I just want to throw that one out there. I think that's a really important thing to remember. And if you do happen to listen to that podcast episode, Oscar also gives a link to do a listening quiz to tell you about what sort of listener you are. It's completely free, but it's really fascinating to do. And I do highly encourage you to do that. Okay, you ready for number three? Number three is this: enjoy the ups, prepare for the downs, but notice the middle. Now, here's something I observed about my own behavior last year, and probably for years, but last year in particular, is that I noticed that The highs and the lows in life and in business were really prominent. I remembered the highs, I remembered the lows, I celebrated the highs, and I got frustrated and stressed about the lows. But I picked up one of my as a kid, I was one of those journalers. I loved to write in my journal, my diary, every single night. And I found one of these diaries recently, and I was flicking through it with my daughter when I realized something. When you journal, you capture the middle, and the middle is the part that you forget, but the middle is the part where the beauty happens. Reading through my journal, I was blown away at some of the things in my life that had happened, some of the things that I got up to that I had completely forgotten about because they got eclipsed by the ups and downs, the highs and the lows. When we have those great highs, it feels like nothing can tear you down. And then suddenly you have this deep low and you feel like nothing will ever get you out of it again. You guys know what I'm talking about. We've all been there, right? But what I've noticed is that there is so much beauty in the part that we don't notice in the very middle. And as I've got older, I've spent less time focusing on that middle and so much more time focusing on trying to get back to the highs all the time. That's not how life works. Life is full of ups and downs, highs and lows, but also lots and lots of middle. So what I started doing this year for a little bit of fun was I decided to journal again. And do you know what? I noticed how in every single day there is so much beauty that I completely miss if I don't stop and think about it. If I don't have a little bit of gratitude for it. Do you know what I'm talking about with the kids? They say the simplest little thing. There might be a conversation you have with somebody and in that moment you just feel this little, oh wow, I really needed to hear that. But tomorrow you completely forget it because it gets eclipsed by something bigger in some way, shape, or form. It might be as simple as you go for this walk and, you notice the beauty of a flower, or, you take your shoes off and the feeling of the grass under your feet. These, for me, are the moments that really make life powerful and beautiful. And so I really want to encourage you to notice the middle, however you need to do that. And that's, different people do it in different ways. Some people draw, some people have really great at practicing, having mindfulness. That's the word I'm looking for. They're really good at practicing mindfulness. I love to write, and it's where my creativity comes out. I just don't make much time for it because I get so busy. So I've been trying to take the time out to do that. And the beauty that I'm finding in the middle is just amazing. And I just want to really encourage you in that, to notice the middle bits as well. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a little bit of a reminder and a warning here. When I first started my business 7 years ago, I had a mission and I had a dream. I had a vision, and I couldn't tell you where all of that came from, except I wholeheartedly believed in it. I wholeheartedly believe in this incredible industry of direct selling. I wholeheartedly believe that this industry changes lives. And I wholeheartedly believed that rather than doing things for people, I wanted to empower people to master social media. And I felt that I could connect with people to do that. I had a 3-step plan for my business. No one coached me to do this. It was a really random thing. I don't know how I came up with it, but I watched some other people. I paid attention and I created this 3-step strategy to get my business off the ground. Now, here's what you need to know. Other people don't see your mission, your vision, or your passion because it belongs to you. And when you look to other people to reiterate that you're on the right track, or to egg you on, in a sense, I really want to encourage you that you need to be convicted and fully focused on, if I am the only person right now in the world that believes in this, are you still going to go for it? Because the thing is that you may very well be the only person in the world that really believes in what it is that you're doing. And that has to be enough. When I first started this business, Greg will say he's spoken about this many times before. He did not think it was a good idea. He was really frustrated that I was going to go into business because he himself had been in business for many years. And he'd seen the challenges, the stresses, the frustrations, the highs, the lows, but also the failures. And he didn't want me to go through all of that. And he felt, I don't want to see Sam fail. And to him, not that he expected me to fail, but he knew there was a pretty high likelihood I would. Vast majority of people that go into business do fail within the first 5 years. And so Greg watched this happen. He was supportive. He really warned me against doing it. He would have loved for me to have gone into, stayed in the work environment, in the corporate role and be employed by somebody. And, he'll say that himself. So, that's with love that he said that. But here's the thing. He didn't believe in he believed in it. Sorry. He didn't have the passion, the vision and the mission at that time that I had. And now I could have chosen to have gone, well, the one person by my side that I need to support me doesn't believe in what I'm doing. I have a choice here. Now, I will say Greg didn't ever say to me, you can't. He was always supportive, but he didn't believe that it would work. And he was fairly clear about that. And I know some of you guys out there listening may have someone close to you that you're looking to and you're wanting them to confirm that you're doing the right thing. You're looking for encouragement. You're looking for, I guess, that confirmation that I'm on the right track. The thing is that you need to own the fact that this is your vision. This is your passion. And guess what? It's your journey. And, you've got to go ahead with conviction. Definitely don't go ahead with, listen to advice of others. There are times in the business that I didn't listen to wise counsel. That's very different. Listening to wise counsel is really important, and you need to make sure you've got people alongside of you that are mentoring you. Always look for a mentor or a coach because you need wise counsel. But that's very different to people having the same vision and passion that you have. I've always had a coach since I started my business, and my coaches have always given me wise counsel, support, and held me accountable, but they didn't have my vision, my passion, my mission. And all of those people would turn to me at any given time and say, do you still believe in what you're doing? And as long as my answer was yes, then I needed to keep powering ahead. But the moment that I faltered in anything that I was doing, I needed to stop, reassess, and re-steer. So I just want to really encourage you that just because other people don't believe necessarily in your mission and your vision the way that you do doesn't mean that it's wrong. People that lead the way because they are individuals that believe in something that no one else has yet decided to believe in. So just remember this, no matter what you're doing, no matter why you're doing it, if you truly believe in what you're doing, if you are passionate about it and there's a why there to you that is super important, then chase it. Don't expect anybody else to chase it for you or with you. It's yours. And if you want to be a trailblazer, then know this, you probably will have very few, if anybody at all, that believes in what you're doing. But have a look at where we're at now. 3 years in, Greg could see that this was not something that was going to fail and falter. He could see that this was something that was powerful, and he could see that I was convicted of my vision, my passion, and my mission. So I just want to encourage you with that chasing what you really believe in is important, but it's yours. All right. I've got a really great little quote here actually from Simon Sinek. I'm just going to read this so I don't get it wrong. And I love this. It says, working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working for something we love is called passion. And I really encourage you, work for something that you love. If you love your products, you love what you do, you love the business that you're with, no one can take that away from you. Okay. Really important. Okay. Number 5. A really important key here, and I cannot tell you how many podcast guests have come in over the last couple of years and have, reiterated this one again and again, is this. Take care of your physical and your mental health. If you want to be successful in your business, it is critical to do that. You can ignore those things for so long, but eventually everything will come tumbling down if you don't. Speaking from experience here again, lots of you have heard my journey around physical and mental health. And over the years, I've learned that if I do not prioritize those things, my business will falter. And I absolutely can get really busy with work and prioritize work for a period of time. But eventually, it's not going to work. It's not going to go well. And some of you know that journey and how that's gone. I really encourage you, listen to even the podcast that I did. I think it was titled, These Feet Were Never Meant for Walking. And I spoke in that podcast about the disability, the condition I had when I was born as a child. I was born as a baby. You know what I'm saying? When I was born, my feet were actually bent up to my shins, and I should never have been able to walk, let alone run. But in the last 2 years, my stepdad, and through an amazing reconnection of a relationship, my stepdad and I have actually been training for a half marathon together, something that I was advised by physiotherapists, osteopaths, even the doctor that helped me with, I can't even remember what they're called now, but the doctor that helped me with my knees when I did my knees in as well, which were all related to my foot condition. They all told me that I was not built to run. I shouldn't be running. It's not the way that my body was formed, designed, put on this earth. But do you know what? Having something to aim towards, having something to keep me fit and healthy, whatever that looks like, has been one of the most powerful investments I could have ever made in my business, more powerful than so many other things. And can tell you right now that when things get a little bit overwhelming or stressful, this is coming from somebody who weighed 95 kilos 10 years ago. You know, I lost over 20 kilos when I started to get healthy. I'd never run before. I'd never gone to the gym. I was overweight. I was unfit. I was unhealthy, and I would avoid exercise at all costs. But I also didn't have great mental health at that time because I wasn't prioritizing my physical health, and therefore I wasn't prioritizing my mental health. Over the years, I learned that when I move my body, my mind benefits from that. And so when I feel stressed or anxious, which is definitely something that I suffer from frequently, getting out and moving in some way, shape, or form is what helps me with that. And there's many times where I can go 4 or 5 days, and Greg knows now that if I start to get really agitated, grumpy, irritable, he'll often turn to me and say, when's the last time you went for a run? When's the last time you went for a gym? And it's not him being the husband going, you need to go and, do some exercise. He knows that my headspace suffers from that if I don't. I can tell you, if you're someone who's right now listening to this going, I am not going to do exercise, I hate exercise. Guys, I started with walking around a block with a pram. That's all you have to do. Go for a walk, get out, breathe some fresh air, get your feet, kick your shoes off, get your feet on the ground, just get yourself out and get your body moving. Gosh, if I had videos of some of the things I got up to, there were times where I would pump some music in my lounge room because I had toddlers around me and I couldn't leave the house. I felt not in a good mental state to leave the house. I would put the music on, I would get out soup cans and I would use them as weights, and I would do, my version of, overweight mummy push-ups while, lifting soup cans. And that was enough at that point in time. So, don't sit there and go, oh, well, she runs a half marathon. I'm doing that now, but there was a time when getting outside that front door and walking 100 meters was something for me to be super proud of, and it helped. And so if you have got a business, if you are a parent, if you are alive, it's important to move your body. And if you suffer from any form of, anxiety, stress, depression, any of those things, I would say it's even more important. And this is me speaking from experience. It is even more important to get out and move yourself as much as you can in the way that you can, and only you can answer what that looks like. But really encourage you to challenge yourself in that. Okay, so taking care of mental and physical health, super important there. Number six is an interesting one because I'm going to use the B word here, but I'm going to be real here for a moment. You guys hear me talk about balance a lot. I speak to podcast guests a lot about how do you balance work and being a parent, or life and being a leader in whatever company you're with. It's one of the first questions I often ask people, and I get all sorts of responses, but I want to tell you something that I've learned from listening to all of these responses. And it's this: balance will never happen. You'll never find it. You'll never get true balance ever. And anyone that tells you that they have, I am going to call them out and say they're a liar right here, right now. You can't get balance. But what I do believe is that you can always be striving towards it. And it's always about looking for, where am I unbalanced? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about work and life. I'm not talking about play and work and all of those things. What I'm talking about is balance in perspective and balance in life. So one of the things that I particularly notice about myself, and I talked before about the ups and downs, is that sometimes I can get super focused on the high or the low. Ever done that before? You get a little focused on the up or the down, what's gone really well right now. And your mind is consumed with this thing that's going really, really well for you. Maybe success that you've had, or perhaps the other way around. You might be super consumed by something that is not going well. Something that, is letting you down or upsetting you or stressing you out or whatever that looks like. And you get super focused on one side. That is an imbalance that will affect you in your life, in your business, in your mental health as well. So what I encourage you to do is always be striving for a balance. We're going to seesaw all over the place all of the time. You'll never get a perfect balance. You'll never maintain it. But once you're aware of it, it becomes so much easier to move through it. So when I notice that, particularly, if we come off a webinar or an event or I speak at a conference, I used to come off stage or come away from that and I would be focused on one thing or the other. I'd be focused on it went really, really well or it went really badly, or I might have noticed something that I did or I didn't say something right and I just would criticize myself. And I'd walk off that stage and I'd be focused on the high or the low. In other words, I would be completely imbalanced. Now, let me tell you something I've learned about life. If you focus on the up or the down, the black or the white, if you have an unbalanced perception about something, life's going to find a way to balance you back up. It just happens every time. When you start paying attention to this, you'll know what I'm talking about because you'll see it happen. But I started to notice this happening. If I walked off stage or came away from a webinar and I was just in this, euphoria and I was super high, something would happen to bring me back down. Or if I was super low, of course, something would happen to bring me back up. But here's the thing, I can manage that myself. So what Greg and I do now, when we get away from a webinar or a keynote or anything that we've done, we will look at what went well and what we could improve so that we are balancing ourselves out. Now, I want to encourage you in this, in everything that you do in your business. Whether you have a team meeting, whether you go to a party or an event, or you do a demonstration, whether you have an interaction with a customer, if you find yourself imbalanced, if you find yourself focusing on the high or focusing on the low, just do a check, pull yourself back and think about what did go well. What's the high that you can, how can you balance out that perception, that process, that experience? Now, this may seem a little bit airy-fairy right now, but believe me, this is something that has been probably one of the biggest learning curves I've had in the last 10 years is I have that ability. You have that ability. We all have that ability to balance that perception out of everything that happens in our worlds. And I really want to encourage you in that. Just think for a little moment, be aware, notice yourself, notice your own thought process, notice that bully, that inner bully. You guys if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you've heard me talk about the inner bully. I've got a really good one. And I just want to encourage you to balance that bully out sometimes. But also, always be looking for maintaining balance in, work, play, all of those things as well. Balance in general. You'll never find it, but always be aware of it. Okay, so that was number 6. Number 7. Oh, all right. So this is one that, again, little warning here. I want to throw it out there. This one kind of goes along with the people don't necessarily see your mission or your vision the way that you do. But this one goes a little further and it's something I want you to be prepared for. If you haven't come across this yet, be prepared for it. Or maybe you have and you haven't acknowledged it. Here's what I know to be true. There are people that want you to fail. There are people that feel better when you do. They want to see you fall in a big hole and they do not want to see you be successful. But put on your armor and stand strong for what you believe in because that's their journey. Now, it's not for you to take that on. And I just want to throw it out there because, again, there have been many people I've come across in my path. It's not personal. There are people out there that want to see me fail. It's just part of life. It's part of business. It's going to happen. But the thing is, it's not about me. It's about what they're journeying, what they're going through, what's going on for them. I can dwell on it. I can focus on it. But then where would I be putting my energy? I love this saying. I'm just trying to think of who said this one. I think it was actually our friend Keith Abraham said this, where your energy goes, energy flows. So where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your focus? Where are you putting your time and efforts? Are you putting your energy and your focus and your attention on the people that are trying to tear you down? Or are you putting your energy and your focus on that quote I said at the start? What's the best thing that could happen right now? What do I want? Where am I going? What's my vision? What's my mission? What's my purpose? What am I steering towards? You stay laser focused on that and let them take care of themselves. That's you focusing on that is not going to change it. So I just want to encourage you, put that armor on, strap it on right now, get that breastplate on and get ready because, it's not a war, it's a battle. But at the end of the day, you've got to fight for what you believe in. But it doesn't mean focusing on everybody else. Look straight ahead. Be laser focused. And I love what Tamsin Sala-Lanan from Amway came in and spoke to us about during her podcast episode. She said, shoot for the goal, past the goal. She said, focus over there. Because when you set a goal beyond the goal, you shoot straight through it. And I love that so much. Such a great analogy. You shoot straight through it. So just be laser focused on where you're going, right down there, and you will shoot straight through those goals that you've got. But focus on those because they are so much more important than that person over there. And there will always be someone, always. So, and you know what? Got to remind myself of that often. Put the armor on, get ready, focus straight ahead, be laser focused. Where am I going? What am I focused on? They're focused on their thing. I'm going to focus on my thing. Number 8, this one came from, again, this was a Celine quote, this one, but this is one that I remind myself of every single day. And if you ever want to grow, if you ever want to have a successful business, this one is critical for you to remember. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You are not going to grow without change. And as much as we want to be in that comfort zone all of the time, we are not going to grow and get where we want to go if we don't get uncomfortable every now and again. That for you could look like something very different from the next person. It might be as simple as learning something new on social media. It might be picking the phone up and having a new conversation. It might be learning something new in your business. For me, it was getting up on that stage. A lot of people say to me, man, oh man, you're such a natural when you get up and speak. I could never do that. Well, let me tell you something. Every single time I get up on that stage, I still get super nervous because I really care about what I'm doing. I'm really passionate about what I'm doing and I really want to impact people. But the thing is that I still am super uncomfortable about doing it. The first time I ever did a keynote or a presentation, it had no training behind me. I was completely self-taught when it came to doing this. I have done training since then, but the thing is, I had no idea what I was supposed to do, and I did everything I could to get out of it. I tried so hard. I had cold feet, and this was that moment when I rang Celine, and I just went, "What do I do?" I feel like I've got butterflies doing backstroke in my belly. I'm so nervous, and she just said this, "Good. The day that you are not nervous getting up on that stage is the day you need to stop doing it because you don't care enough." She said, "You will feel nervous about this for the rest of your life. And as soon as you don't, you stop doing it." And I guess it's the same for many things. But she also said to me, get comfortable with being uncomfortable because you are learning things, you're growing and you're going places. So I just want to encourage you in that. If you feel uncomfortable, if you're out of your comfort zone a little bit, it's a good thing. It means growth, and I want you to grow. I want to see you shoot to the moon and get all of those goals that you want in your business, in your life, in your family this year. And I love this one here. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I think that goes really well with that one. Number 9. Oh, all right. This is actually one I want to argue with, right? So one of my coaches said to me, once upon a time, Sam, he said this multiple times, you need to lower your expectation of other people. Life will be so much easier for you. He basically said, expect people to let you down. And here's the thing, people will let you down. People let me down every day. I'm sure they let you down every day. And it is a part of life and it's a part of business. But one thing that I've come to recognize in recent years, and, I guess it takes the bitter edge off it when people really do let you down, is to stop and ask myself this question. It can be hard to do it in the heat of the moment, particularly when you've been really hurt. But ask yourself the question, what are they showing me? What are they showing me right now? Because sometimes it's really easy to focus on the bitter frustration that people are not all that you've built them up to be sometimes. They showed me their true colors and it's not who I thought they were, or, I can't believe they did that to me. But the question is, what are they pushing you towards? What are they showing you? I've got so many stories I could share with you. I feel like so many of them I shouldn't share, so I'm going to hold off on that. But over the years, so many people have bitterly let myself down and Greg down, just like I'm sure I've let others down as well. Have no doubt, I'm not perfect. But at the end of the day, there is not one single situation, not one single person that's ever let me down that I can't stop and see a benefit that came from that. Something that I gained, something that they showed me, something that they taught me, someone that they pushed me towards, an opportunity that wouldn't have arisen if that situation hadn't happened. So I just encourage you, I'm not going to walk around and be that glass half empty person that says, I'm going to believe in people less. No, you know what? I refuse to lower my expectations of people. I think life is a much better place if we believe the best in people. But just be prepared for the fact that people will let you down. And when they do, be ready to stop and consider this one thing. What is it that they're showing you? What is it that you gain from that situation? What can you learn? Because you know what? I've got to be careful saying this, but in all of those difficult situations through my entire life, there's not one where I can't see a blessing that's come from it in some way, shape, or form. So you know what? That person that said that to me, I am not going to lower my expectations of people. I still believe the best in people, but I know they're going to let me down. I'm just going to choose to see the blessing in those situations. So again, I reckon there might be someone listening to this right now that might be going through something. Perhaps you've had somebody that's really let you down. Maybe it's a leader. Maybe it's someone in your team. Maybe it's someone in your business. But I want you to stop for a little moment. You can focus on the fact that that person did the wrong thing. They let me down and grr. Or you can stop and reflect, self-reflect and think, what have I gained from this? What can I learn? What blessing is behind this? Who is that person pushed me towards? What opportunity has come? And maybe right now in the thick of it, you can't see it, but keep reflecting because you will see it. There will be something. Maybe it's not made itself clear just yet. Maybe the opportunity or the person or whatever that blessing isn't obvious just yet, but you wait. It'll be there. There's a reason that person let you down because they're trying to show you something. Not consciously. They are showing you something though. I promise you, there is never anything missing. Okay. The last one is this, and that is the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be better. And I just want to really finish up on this one because I'm a perfectionist. We can strive for perfection in our business. We can strive for perfection in our lives. And to be honest, I am my absolute worst critic. I am super hard on myself. I often hear from, whenever we've done any personal development or coaches or anyone that Greg and I have worked with, they'll often turn to me afterwards and say, Sam, you are really hard on yourself. You need to just give yourself a bit of a break. And here's the thing that, I think I'll always be learning this, but it's not about being perfect. It's not about striving for perfection. It's about striving to learn something new. Just be the best version of me I can be today and don't beat myself up. And I just want to say that to you too. Whatever it is that you're doing in your business, whether you are starting out, whether you've been in business for a really long time, definitely don't sit around and do nothing, but don't strive to be perfect. Strive to be better. Just gain one thing, learn one thing, do one thing, be one thing. When it comes to social media, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is this constant striving for perfection. People will hold off putting a post up because it's not perfect yet, or I want my grid on Instagram to be perfectly lined up. Here's the thing. You are perfect in your imperfection, and so is everything that you do. So is your social media. Do you know, I was having a really fantastic conversation with somebody the other day who has grown an unbelievable business on social media, but she said that the day that she realized that the posts she put out there that were imperfect, the posts she put out there that were real and relatable, the day she realized those were the most successful posts, her social media took off. But up until that point, she had wasted so much of her precious time and energy perfecting everything, and it wasn't working because we're not perfect human beings. We don't live perfect lives. We are perfect in our imperfection. And so strive for a bit of imperfection. Love the imperfection in you. Love the imperfection in your business. Love the imperfection in life. And I can promise you, then life will be a much better place. So guys, that's 10 things I just wanted to share with you today for our 100th episode to celebrate all of the things I've learned over the last 7 years, all of the amazing conversations I've had with incredible individuals over the last 100 episodes. Guys, this is the start of an amazing journey. I feel like Greg and I are just at the beginning, and yet we've been in this for what feels like a long time. But I'm so excited for what comes next. And most importantly, I am so excited for what comes next for each and every one of you. So again, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody in our team that has made this podcast possible. A huge thank you to everyone in our team that supports us, that shares our passion, that shares our vision and shares our mission. I want to say a huge thank you to all of those incredible guests that have come in here and given us their time and their wisdom over the last couple of years. But also to those people who have coached and mentored Greg and I. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the encouragement of those people, the wisdom and the wise counsel of those people. And you might have heard me talk about this before. I really believe that you need to have somebody that believes in you more than you believe in yourself at times. Sally Ann Ferguson said this in one of our podcast episodes last year. She talked about always having someone that believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And that's so, so important. And you know what? I totally believe that's why we're still here today. But last but not least, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you, our listeners, for tuning on in, for being on this journey with us. It is such a blessing that we get to do this each and every day. We get to do what we love with people that we love in an industry that we love. And I can't wait to see what the next 100 episodes brings. We've got some amazing guests lined up to come and share with all of you. And I am super excited to continue doing life with everybody here. So that's it from me today. That is episode number 100. I am super grateful, super blessed, and super excited. So I just want to say again, thank you so much to everybody. Really excited that we get to do this every day. And I look forward to tuning in to chat with you all again next week for episode 101. So thank you so much for joining us. Bye for now. God bless. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator Podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.